Welcome back, Stranger Than Fiction family, and welcome back, YouTube. So today's video, we're going to be talking about my accident and what I remember and what I was told happened. So the date would be January 17th, 2022. It's Martin Luther King Day. My brother was actually running for office running for judge that day at the or he was campaigning. I'm sorry. Excuse me. At the Martin Luther King parade on the east side of Oklahoma City. I ended up not going. I sent my wife, my daughter, and I'll put a picture up here of my daughter with my brother at the function or at the event. I sent them so that I could sleep because I knew I was working. And actually, what me and my friend had decided to do, the one who was with me when I had my accident, he was in the truck behind me. What we had decided to do was we were going to stay out for about 3 or 4 days. So I packed up my stuff, slept most of the day. Well, so I wouldn't sleep most of the day, but took me a good nap before, probably about 2 hours before we were logging in to go to work. Got up, logged in to go to work, got dressed ready, went, did my pre-trip on my truck, hopped in my truck, got me a load. First thing I always did was, there's a Love's right down the street from where I parked my truck. Went to Love's, got my coffee. I always kept a pack of water in the truck with me, and I had my Yeti cup. I had a big Yeti cup. Filled that up with ice water, had my coffee, had my little snacks or whatever for the night, and took off. I go, by the time I get to the sand plant, we were hauling sandbox. I'm gonna see if I have a picture of a sandbox and I'll put it up also so you guys can see what it looks like. When I pull up to where we get loaded at, he's already getting loaded. He beat me to the spot. I get loaded, he waits on me. As I pull up, I tell him, get on the mic and tell him, hey, I'm ready to ride. He says, all right, man, go ahead and go in front of me. Which, not a strange thing. This happens all the time. I'll tell him sometimes to go in front. He'll tell me sometimes to go in front. Just, the way it works with us. One day I'll follow him, or one load I'll follow him. The next load he'll follow me. Next load I'll follow him. Back and forth, however we do it that day. It depends on the day, changes by the day. So I hop in front and we go. We're on the phone most of the time, or we're on our CB radio talking to each other. And when I say on the phone, not on the phone like you see people in the cars. We have our trucker headsets. We don't touch our phones when we're driving. That's one thing that, I've always been real particular about when it comes to driving my truck. I never wanted to have a cell phone in my hand. I just knew, I'm carrying 80,000 pounds. It's too dangerous. I always had a headset. So we're riding, we're going. At this time, we're not on the phone. I think he's on the phone with his wife, and I'm waiting on my wife to actually call me. She was at a friend's house with my daughter, and so we're going, and we're literally 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes away from our drop off. And there's a slight curve. And when I say slight, I mean slight. It's one of those curves where they don't even tell you to slow down, but I'm in a truck, so of course I gotta slow down some. But you can do this curve going 60 to 70 miles an hour, and it's not gonna do anything to you. Especially in a car, you can do it going about 60, 65 in a truck. But I'm sure, I'm always careful. That was one thing about me when it comes to that. So get around the curve, and as I get around the curve, I see out of my mirrors, because as a truck driver, you're taught to always check your side mirrors. You check them every, 10 to 15 seconds, you look. You make sure everything's good. I look out of my side mirror, and I see my back tire come up off the ground. Give me just a second. All right, so as I see my back tire come up off of the ground, I wouldn't really say I panicked, but I knew that that was bad. You know what I mean? That's the way these trucks are built. It's not, or the way the trailer is built, I should say, it's not even. So you have this big box sitting in the middle of the trailer. And once I saw that go up, you know, I felt like maybe I could fix it because I tried to correct it. It didn't work. And honestly, after that, the next thing I remember was hearing a really loud boom. Heard the boom. I'm guessing it, you know, it knocked me out, of course. I heard the boom, and I just remember, I don't remember what I saw or anything, but I do remember hearing my friend yell my name. He's, Antonio, Antonio, where you at, bro? Where you at? Where you at? So I crawled from up under whatever was on top of me, and I have pictures of the wreckage. I crawled from up under, and I tell him, I'm on this side. I'm on this side of the truck. So he was looking for me on one side of the truck. I was on the other side of the truck. So it kind of gives you an idea of, you know, how bent up and how, you know, much this wreckage was. For him to be looking on this side thinking this is the driver's side and I'm on this side. I crawled from under the truck. I turn around, I'm laying there, and he's talking to me, and I just keep telling him, hey man, my side hurt. I think I broke my ribs. You know, it's hard to breathe, my side is hurting, and I could feel it bulging. A lady comes, and I have a picture of her up here, you know, thank the Most High for her. She comes, her and her son's like maybe 14 at the time, 13 at the time. She gets blankets out of her, she stays literally right down from where the wreck happened. She heard the big boom. She comes, her and her son, they get some blankets out of her, and she's actually a nurse, is what I found out. But she gets blankets out of her car, wraps me up in them to kind of stop the bleeding from my head, where you guys saw my head wound in another video. Wraps it around my head. Of course, my friend had already called 911, so we're waiting on them. I'm talking to them, and the crazy part is, like I said before, no broken bones. And when it happened, I was taught, I gave her and my friend my wife's phone number. I actually told him, I said, hey, this is my wife's phone number, but don't call her until the ambulance gets here and I know where I'm going. That way she can meet me to where I'm going. That didn't happen, of course. They called her anyway, which, you know, I just didn't want her to try to come to where I was, because where we live and where I was is probably about a 45-minute drive. So I didn't want her, you know, maybe an hour drive. I didn't want her coming way out there, you know, just to follow the ambulance all the way back to Oklahoma City. The ambulance people come, and they're thinking I'm going into shock, and I'm talking just as calm as I'm talking to you guys right now, and it may be hard to believe. You know, one day I'll have, you know, the lady who came to help me, maybe I can have her on here and do an interview, maybe have her son on here. My friend, of course, he'll come on whenever I want him to. You know, I'm gonna wait for my channel to get a little bigger to do that type of stuff, but they'll tell you, just as calm as I'm sitting here talking to you guys, that's how I was talking to them. The only thing I kept saying was, my side hurts, my side hurts. I think I broke my ribs. And the reason I thought I had broken a rib is because I played football all my life. So I've seen guys get broken ribs. And the one thing they always say when it happens is, man, it's hard to breathe. It's hard to breathe. So it was hard for me to inhale and exhale. But it was just the hernia. Like the hernia was so bad. It had my, and you guys have seen pictures of my stomach on one of my videos. It had my stomach just bulging. I get in the ambulance. It's probably the worst ride ever, because every little bump, every little rock, anything that they touched was painful for me on my side. My head was cut open. I didn't even know my head was cut open. Now, when my friend came over and looked at me, you know, it's nighttime. It's like 11 o'clock at night, 11:30 at night. The one thing he did say was, oh man, your face. And I was like, no, it's not my face. It's my side that hurt. I didn't even realize that I had cut my head open like that. Like I didn't feel any pain anywhere other than my side. That was the pain that I felt. And I guess because that was the worst pain. Get in the ambulance. I'm talking to them just as calmly as I'm talking to you guys, giving them my phone number, my address. My wallet was still in the truck because when I would get in the truck, instead of keeping my wallet in my back pocket, I had a compartment that I put it in. My friend actually found it and brought it to my wife. I kept my wallet in the compartment, and so let me rewind a little bit. When it happened, my wife ended up calling me while I was on the ground. She actually had called me. Like I said, I was waiting on her call anyways. So he was able to find my phone and slip it into my pocket before the ambulance got there. Now my wallet he found a little bit later, or he found the same night, but it was a little later after I'd already left, and he brought it to my wife the next day. So I'm in the ambulance and they take me down the street and they're telling me we're waiting on a helicopter. And I tell them, no, I don't want to go on a helicopter. Just take me in the ambulance. And they're like, no, we can't do that. You know, we don't know what's going on with you. And I said, but listen, I'm okay. Just take me in the ambulance. The reasoning for that, and you can look it up. Back in 2000, and it was either 2000, it's 2013, I'm pretty sure. It was at the beginning of 2013, January or February. I worked this is before I had my CDL. I got my CDL that year though. There was a helicopter, a Metaflight, that fell out of the sky right in between the St. Anne's Nursing Home and the St. Anne's Assisted Living Center. I worked at the St. Anne's Nursing Home. So when this happened, you know, I ran out there and I actually helped to save a guy. I never really talk about this, but I actually helped to save a guy out of the helicopter. The other 2 or 3 people, I think it was 2 other people in there, passed away, you know, tragically. But the one guy we were actually able to save. So I didn't want to get on a helicopter because ever since that day, I'm good on flying, you know, helicopters. That terrified me. Anyways, they put me on the Metaflight. Like I said, I'm still talking to these people like nothing's going, you know, just as calmly as I talk to you guys. I'm talking to these people, They get me to the hospital. When I get there, my wife is already there. Yeah, and that's what happened the night that my accident, that night that my accident happened. That's the story of what happened. So let's not forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. And my daughter's on the other side of the camera, and she'll beat me up if I don't tell you to go subscribe to Amaya's Fun World app also. And my wife is recording my daughter's lock journey. She loves her locks. She's recording that on her TikTok. My wife's TikTok is Jeanette, what is it called? Micro Lock Journey. Just look up Micro Lock Journey. My daughter's in there somewhere. And let's never forget, Stranger Than Fiction family. Whatever doesn't kill us simply makes us stranger.